Are you itching for a new adventure but don't want to spend lots of money? In this video, I'm unveiling 8 incredible budget destinations that not only offer unforgettable experiences but also make your hard-earned money go the extra mile. Some of these affordable gems like number 1 and number 7 might even come as a surprise. The first budget destination that is really worth having on your radar right now is Japan. Japan is a lot of great things. It has a one-of-a-kind culture, amazing natural beauty, and seems to always be living in the future. But right now, Japan is cheap to visit too. Let me tell you why. The Japanese yen lost nearly a third of its value during the pandemic. And that means that if you visit Japan with a strong currency like the dollar or the euro, things are cheaper. The recent price increase for the Japan Rail Pass shows that prices for travel to Japan may slowly increase down the line. But overall, prices are still low across the board. So for now, your money will go really far in Japan. You could even visit during the world-renowned cherry blossom season in spring without breaking the bank. And it's not just hotels and commodities that are affordable. Airfare to Japan is also cheap right now. One reason for this is that low-cost carrier Zip Air has provided competition with traditional airlines flying between the US and Japan. As a result, you can often fly to Japan for under $800 round trip in economy class. But for even less, you could usually snag flights to Europe, and Poland could be a great European country to visit right now. Poland might feel off the beaten path for some, but it's got a whole lot to offer for the budget traveler. The capital of Warsaw is a great place to start a trip. It's got a nice old town and lots of green spaces. But the city of Krakow in the south should not be forgotten either. And there are many more cities and towns around the country worth a visit. Plus, the food in Poland is great everywhere, with internationally known specialties like pierogi available for reasonable prices. Prices for a place to stay are usually reasonable too. On my many trips to Poland, I've always managed to book hotels for around $50 a night. And Polish airports are also served by numerous low-cost carriers. So if you're already in Europe, Poland could be a great budget addition to a longer trip, or just a nice short getaway from other places in Europe. Another country that's easily accessible from Europe is Turkey, formerly known as Turkey. The country's largest city of Istanbul is a booming metropolis, where you can eat breakfast in Europe and then spend the afternoon in Asia. This is because the city of Istanbul is split by the Bosphorus River, with one side being Asia and the other side being Europe. In the end, Istanbul kind of gives you the best of both worlds. It's got rich culture, amazing food, and a certain charm about it. And nearly everything is cheap in Turkey, with a daily budget of well under $100 being completely doable. But the fun doesn't have to stop in Istanbul. Turkey is an easy country to travel around, and trains or flights will not break the bank there. Some other popular places to visit are Cappadocia, Izmir, and Antalya. So far, all the places we looked at can be nice to visit year-round, but if you're traveling during colder months in the northern hemisphere and are looking to escape the cold without breaking the bank, then a great option for you could be South Africa. Back in the winter of 2020, I did a road trip across the whole country, and this can be a great way to see a lot of South Africa in one trip. Car rentals can cost you around $20 a day, and this is usually inclusive of one-way fees. But if you have, say, only 1 week, then basing your trip around one city is probably the way to go. South Africa's most visited city is Cape Town, and it's a place you won't want to miss. The city itself is a bit of a foodie mecca, and with Table Mountain within the city limits, you won't be able to escape Cape Town's natural beauty. There are lots of nice beaches within easy reach of the city, and you can visit nearby wine growing areas for a full vineyard experience. There are even safari possibilities within reach of Cape Town. But if you really want to get your safari on, then Kruger National Park is the most popular place to do it. Kruger is located closer to the large cities of Johannesburg and Durban. But for much of the year, Kruger National Park is considered a malaria risk area. So make sure to consider that when planning a trip. A good alternative park, which I chose to visit instead of Kruger, is Glughluwe Mfolozi Game Reserve, which is not located in a malaria risk area. You are even permitted to do a self-drive there, so it can be a nice option to avoid the cost of a tour. But if South Africa is a little bit further than you want to go, Mexico is a great budget destination. And if you're traveling from North America, it's cheap and easy to reach. You could go check out the thriving metropolis of Mexico City. Mexico City, often referred to by locals as the DF or Federal District, is the second most populated city in the Americas, and there is just so much to see and do there. I visited back in 2017 for spring break, and wow! Even though I made it to the canals of Xochimilco and to the massive Teotihuacan ruins, there is just so much in and around Mexico City, and it's a very budget-friendly place to visit. But if visiting a huge city is not your thing, there are dozens of other great places to visit in Mexico. For budget beach getaways, the Riviera Maya is perfect. It's got places like Cancun, Tulum, and Playa del Carmen to choose from. And there are budget options all along the coast. I've stayed in apartments for around $50 a night in Playa del Carmen, and I even was able to go jungle glamping with breakfast included for about $70 a night. But there are just so many options in that part of Mexico. And the same really goes for the west coast of Mexico. Puerto Vallarta is a budget travel stronghold with endless beaches, and Oaxaca is also a great place to visit that won't break the bank. And if you want to go a little further south, Brazil is a great option for a budget getaway right now. Now, I'm not claiming that Brazil is the cheapest country to travel to in South America, because it is definitely not. But it is very budget friendly, and what you get for your money is amazing. Plus, I found it super easy to navigate, despite not speaking much of the local language. If you have the time, visiting at least 2 cities is a great way to break up your trip. Sao Paulo is the biggest city in the Americas, and it's a great place to start a trip to Brazil. You've got all the standard big city attractions like skyscrapers, great museums, and lots of food to try. Plus, despite it being huge, it's pretty easy to navigate. The most visited city in Brazil, though, is Rio de Janeiro, and any photo of the city will tell you why. If you're looking for beaches, Rio's got them. And it's still a huge city, so amazing food and culture are a part of the experience. Then a third city that's often overlooked is Salvador. Personally, Salvador is my favorite city in Brazil. It's got a vibe you just won't find elsewhere in the country, its beaches easily compete with Rio, and it has a beautiful culture with much of its roots in Africa that is very welcoming. That's not to mention that the local foods like moqueca and acarajé are really good and really affordable. Though a ways away from the 3 cities we've looked at, Iguazu Falls is one other part of Brazil that would be a shame to miss. The falls are the biggest waterfall system in the world and one of the 7 natural wonders. The Brazilian town near the falls is Foz do Iguaçu, and it's an affordable place to stay. Plus, you can view the falls from both Brazil and Argentina, so it's a good chance to see yet another country. Safety is often a topic when it comes to travel to Brazil. I spent a few weeks traveling in Brazil in 2021 and found Brazilians to be welcoming, warm, and helpful everywhere I went. But you still want to take all the normal precautions and thoroughly research anywhere you visit before your trip. But there's another country that's a great option for budget travel right now, and it's back in Europe. That country is Spain, and there are a lot of reasons to go there right now. But let's be clear, Spain is not the cheapest of cheap countries in Europe. Instead, it's one of the European countries that offers the best value for your money. And it's a really easy place to combine relaxation with exploration. From Madrid to Malaga, there are tons of cities worth visiting in Spain. And some people will even spend months traveling around the country. I mean, I even lived there for an entire year, traveled nearly every weekend, and still haven't been to each part of the country. During most of the year in most of Spain, you'll find hotels and bed and breakfasts charging well under $100 a night for a decent place to stay. Some really popular spots like Barcelona can get more pricey during peak summer season. But even during that time, I found solid deals. No matter what part of the country you decide to visit though, you can expect a rich culture and great food. And if a Mediterranean beach is calling your name, Spain offers over 3,000 miles of coastline. Another budget-friendly place to visit in the Mediterranean is Egypt. From ancient sites to beach resorts, Egypt has a lot to offer any traveler. I've booked nice hotels in Egypt for as little as $25 a night with a nice breakfast included. And prices for most everything in Egypt are pretty low. There's so much to do in this country that you could just stay for months. But for shorter periods, the obvious starting point is the Great Pyramid of Giza. The pyramid is one of the 7 wonders of the world, and you can see it up close for less than $10. That's probably less than a sandwich would cost you back home. Nile cruises are also popular and can be a bargain. To get the best prices though, you may have to show up to the company's office in Cairo and do a little bit of negotiation. And it's not just the Great Pyramid of Giza that you'll want to see. Egypt is full of ancient Egyptian sites to visit. And beyond the Mediterranean northern coast of Egypt, there are beach towns on the Red Sea like Hurghada and Sharm el-Sheikh that can be nice to visit even during the wintertime. Now keep in mind that this is not an exhaustive list of budget-friendly places to visit right now. While these are some of the best options at the moment, there are plenty more budget-friendly places to visit around the world. If there's other budget-friendly places to visit for this year that you think people should know about, then drop a comment. And keep in mind that the best value places to visit can often depend on where you're located in the world. Some nationalities may also require expensive visas to visit certain countries. And the cost of getting to and from each country should be budgeted for too. So, say you're traveling from the US. Once you're in South Africa, it may be even cheaper than Mexico. But the airfare to get to South Africa is usually significantly more than a short flight to Mexico. Still, sometimes further away places have great flight deals. The thing is though, if you don't know where to find these deals, you may never hear about them. And with that in mind, I created a video about 5 cheap flights websites that people often don't know about, and you can watch it right now for free. I hope this video has helped you consider where to travel this year, and happy travels to you all.